So today is May 2nd, 2016. For you, and probably everybody else out there, this is a pretty regular day. It's the 2nd of May. Big whoop. But here in British Columbia, Canada, this is a completely different day. Today marks the 30th anniversary of the opening of the 1986 World's Fair in Vancouver, British Columbia, otherwise known as Expo 86. Now, a lot of things happened after the fair. It really woke up and put Vancouver on the map. We're now known for our views, our real estate, our movie industry, and innovation of all things. And just like with Expo 67 in Montreal, there's a lot of relics that are left behind. There's a legacy that's left behind. Ironically for me, I was actually born in 1990 out east, so really I never got to experience it myself, but Expo 86 is still everywhere. It could be wall tiles, it could be trinkets, it could be stuff at a secondhand store. But there's a lot of things still floating around. In fact, I myself own a couple of odds and ends, and one of them includes a rather large 4-foot tall road sign. But I have a couple of other smaller things I can show off as well. First thing we'll start off with here is this little pin. Really nothing all that special about it, but we'll go a little bit better than that. From the Vancouver Flea Market, actually, we have an Expo 86 Seasons Pass. There we go. Little laminated thing here that belonged to Mr. David Mower or Hauer. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, if you're watching this video, I got your ID here, so it's safe. And there's other keepsakes that are a little bit more personal that I've managed to find over the years as well. In particular, the Expo 86 passport. Now, it's exactly like any other passport from a World's Fair. Quite simply, you get stamps into it for every pavilion you go to and events. And we open to the first one here, and it even says, the 1986 World Exposition, Vancouver, Canada, May 2nd to October 13th, 1986. And we have a first couple of pages here, and it's worth saying it does have this nice fine print of Expo 86, Expo 86, Expo 86 all over all the paper here. It has a list of schedules of major events that were going on. For example, we had a piece on aviation between August 1st and 10th. And that's mainly because the two themes of Expo 86 were transportation and communication. What actually we have here? Let's see. The Steam Expo. Largest steam train gathering May 21st to June 1st. Huh. What else do we have in here? Ah, yes, the stamps, of course, in the passport. And unfortunately, this has been water damaged, so I actually have lost a number of stamps that were on the bottom here. The top ones are still okay, but it all starts with the Expo Center, which is now known as Science World, or the TELUS World of Science. And I'll just quickly go through here. So what else do we have here? Republic of Costa Rica, the Ontario Pavilion, the Ramses II Pavilion, was that? I'm not entirely sure. I'm still learning as I go here. But we have the Canadian Pacific Gondola, UFO, H2O. You'll find, if you Google these, you'll find them. I do have a page here that's slipped out because of the water damage here. What do we have? Here we go. The Friendship 500, otherwise known as the McBarge. If you're not from Vancouver, just Google McBarge, exactly as it sounds. It's a floating McDonald's that we had during Expo 86, and it sat in Burrard Inlet for a number of years. We've recently moved it, and it's being refurbished, actually. Let's see. The Kodak Pacific Bowl. The Korea Pavilion. The monorail. There we go. So, Expo Theater, Canadian National Pavilion, there's another one right there. And if you don't know who the robot here, this is Expo Ernie. I know someone who has a number of stories behind that, but I won't go into those. And, oh, is that? Yes, Yugoslavia. That has to be the Yugoslavian Pavilion. And the France Pavilion as well. And there's China, Expo 86, Vancouver, Korea Pavilion. And, oh, look, this person went to the BCTV Pavilion. That was a fun one there. Apparently you were able to, BCTV, now known as Global Vancouver, actually moved their television station into the Expo grounds during the fair. So you were able to attend live screenings and broadcasts. And that would be it in the Spirit Lodge right there. But stuff like personal stuff like this. But now I want to go into the one thing which is going to make up the bulk of this video here, is that I also have the Expo 86 souvenir guide. Cost $5. No, it was not free, and it's the official guide to Expo 86. And it's full of all sorts of adverts, other information regarding events and locations and hotels, and just stuff like that. So I'm just going to scan through some of the pages here, and we'll see what we have. There might also be a pamphlet in here, too. Ah, yes, here we go. It all starts here. The Canadian Pavilion. And we have a guide to the Canadian Pavilion right here. And, ooh, okay, so we do have a layout here. If you've been into it more recently, this has all been renovated. It's actually all convention space now and conference rooms. But back then, it was actually broken into a number of theaters. It was shorter than it is now. I believe in 2000 they actually expanded it. And the giant flagpole you see right here, before you go over the Portman Bridge, just in Surrey, that's actually the same flagpole. Flagpole, there we go. The hockey stick is still there. But this was like the big showpiece for Expo 86 was the Canadian Pavilion, and it's still around. And it mentions here actually how to get to it. And if you were at the Expo grounds, which were on False Creek, which was the other side of downtown, you didn't walk to it. You actually took the SkyTrain to get to it. And how did... Well, okay, if you live in Vancouver, you've gone to Stadium Chinatown Station. There's one platform you can take to go to Waterfront and the other one to go out towards Surrey. There's that third platform. You never see anybody there. There's trains parked there sometimes, but no one's ever there. That actually used to be the platform where you would transfer either off the SkyTrain or from inside the Expo zone, and you could take that train directly over to a partitioned section of the station at Waterfront, and then you can go right into the Canada Place. And it was completely free. But this is a little guide that you would have gotten there. The other side is in bilingual, but that's what's in there. But yeah, this is all full of advertisements and stuff like that, and just stuff that's just advertising BC and all sorts of Canadian technologies and stuff like that. This is also upside down right now. This is actually me properly reading it, so pardon me if I have difficulty reading a couple of things here. Yeah, the table of contents, services, the green zone. It was all broken up into colored zones. So, Showcase 86, the sponsors and supplies, and there's an index in there as well. The North Shore's largest shopping attraction, Park Royal. Huh, okay. And another advert here for the Canadian Pavilion. It was a big thing. What is this? Energy, Mind, and Resources Canada. So, ooh. And here we go. Welcome to Expo 86. This is Brian Mulroney. This is our former Prime Minister, who was Prime Minister in 1986. This is the late Bennett. He was our Premier. He actually passed away just last December, unfortunately. Patrick Reed, Ambassador and Commissioner General. And if you don't know this bald guy here, you are obviously not British Columbia. This is Jimmy Pattison. He's the local billionaire, and he owns just about everything. So he's everywhere. And yeah, the greetings, services, and it's got all this nice little, these icons are all over the place, because IBM had information booths as well, but this also gives you a fantastic map. And I believe it's, yes, the next one here is the on-site attractions, and you can see the different colored zones. With BC Place right there, and what is over here? The Royal Pacific Bowl. Okay, I'm assuming maybe that is the Kodak Bowl. But yeah, Expo Center here, Main Street Station is here, and there would be a transfer over here from Stadium Chinatown over to the Canadian Pavilion, like I said before. But we had that little map in there. And who's participating in Expo 86? It's all listed here. Where's Yugoslavia? There's Yugoslavia. And the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. If that shows its state, how to get to it, and that would be all the way down to California. Each route to get through here. Notice from Vancouver over here to 16 and 1, there should be a Coquihalla here. In fact, there is no Coquihalla. The connection between Hope and Merritt did not open until May 16th, 1986. And to Kamloops did not open until 1987, so you still took Highway 1 through Fraser Canyon at the time. All aboard Expo 86. I really don't have the time to read this out. I'm sorry. Canadian Pacific Airlines. There's one. You don't even hear of them anymore. They don't even exist. Northwest Territories Pavilion, Via Rail Exposition, and you're going to find a lot of these ads in here for perfumes and alcohol and cigarettes. It really is a whole different time. You can find it in the Bay, Eaton's, Holt's, and Woodward's. When Woodward's is still around, same with Eaton's. Double the fun. And there was other attractions they had there. There was, yes, there was the hovercraft, the roller coaster. I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty here. Okay. And what is this? Oh, yes. A special Swatch watch that was made specifically for Expo 86 that they were selling at the time. You can't get a hold of that now. And this is the Saskatchewan Pavilion. And in fact, it's not a whole building in here. It's actually an elevator that goes up right to here. And that's it. And was that the... yes, this is the Canadian National Pavilion. Or at least a mock-up of it. And here's Labatt's advertisement. Air Canada. Oh, dear. Teleglobe Canada. What the hell is that? Bringing people and continents together. The duty-free, because, well, why not advertise duty-free? There you go. BC hosts the world. So this is most likely the British Columbia Pavilion. Yes, right here. This is now known as the Plaza of Nations, and I forget the name of the casino that's right next to it. In fact, 3/4 of the Plaza of Nations has been demolished. It wasn't designed to last longer than the fair, and we kept it up until about 2008, 2009, and it was falling apart, so they tore most of it down. But the parking lot underneath is oddly still there. Commemorative coins. Export A. There you go, our first cigarette ad. And the Expo Theater. That's again long gone. Here's another one for the, another ad here for the Canada Place, Vancouver. Yeah, that one's self-explanatory. And it's always just, like, for each country here, like Czechoslovakia, and it just gives you information about what each pavilion was doing and representing, and a little bit of bits of information regarding what was available each one. For example, this one here at the Peru Pavilion, there was bathrooms, there was food, and... I'm not entirely sure what that last one is there. Maybe I should have actually read what the legend at the beginning meant. Universal Studios. Ooh, there we go. The USSR Pavilion. Yes. The West Edmonton Mall. Here we go. Rockies, rodeos, and shopping, and a shopping complex with its own submarine fleet. The West Edmonton Mall, of course. That submarine fleet, apparently, they've actually taken out of service. It's not there anymore, so... American Express. Here we go. Okay, you have now triple your driving pleasure. And you have the Fraser Canyon you can always take, and there's the Hell's Gate Air Tram. And you have the Coquihalla Highway, which even specifies here from Hope to Merritt, with the toll booth in the middle, which is now long gone. And that was going to be open. And then the Kamloops connection right over here until, like, 1987. So this was your other option if you wanted to go the scenic route. Otherwise, you had to go... this way, which was ridiculous, just take Highway 1. And then there was Hope Princeton, which personally I've never taken before, but apparently it's really quite nice. Romance of the Seas. There was a boat show there, I believe, as well that happened. And yes, General Motor was there as well, and they actually had, I do believe they had two versions of... Yes, the Chevy Astro Expo 86 Commemorative Edition and the Pontiac Grand Am Expo 86 Commemorative Edition. Now, were these Astros and Grand Ams with a little tiny Expo 86 badge on them? I've never seen a photo of this before, so maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Oh, United Nations had a pavilion at Expo 86 as well. Interesting. And we have the Concorde, and another thing on communications, Telecom Canada. Okay. I can't read, no, there is no English on there, or I just can't, I don't know. We have a piece here for Xerox, interesting. Yeah, here it is, the United Nations had a piece, and Quebec has their own little pavilion as well in the green zone. what else do we have here? Another. We're fueling. Oh, it's an ad for Esso Fuels. Okay. And Canadian Pacific had their own little piece here, and they do a lot more than trains back then. So they, of course, trucking, transportation, flight, and communications, and all that. Okay, like they don't do any of that now that I'm aware of. And in the yellow zone, yes, the Vancouver Aquarium, and we still had an orca there. To be the best. Ah, yes, Chrysler. I'm assuming they had commemorative editions here as well. Where is it? Official automotive supplier to the Canada Place. Okay, they had their own cars. Okay. And then finally we had our ad here for BC itself, Supernatural British Columbia. That hasn't changed at all in the last 30 years. But yeah, it's true. BC is a fantastic place. Transport Canada, 50 Years of Progress, 1936 to 1986. And this is Highway 86 right here. This was a huge art piece with a whole bunch of vehicles, trailers, and motorcycles, and stuff like that, all painted gray. And you could ride on them, you could crawl on them. They wouldn't allow something like that at a World's Fair now, just too dangerous, but it's fantastic. It was beautiful. I think I saw one of the motorcycles for sale on Craigslist about a year or two ago. So there are relics of that even floating about still. The world on stage, and there was a lot of stage events that happened at Expo 86. Again, there was quite a few, even just street events going on. And what do we have here? Standard Life, and oh god, Standard Life Insurance or something like that. Okay. And Demarie cigarettes. Okay, cool. Because apparently you have a super low coffee table and you're listening to CDs and holding them completely wrong. Okay, whatever. Payment. And there's an ad here for Toshiba, and there's Expo Ernie again. All right, I'll admit, I know it's a friend. When he was young, he went to Expo 86, and there was this inflatable Expo Ernie, I think his like brother or sister had, and he got hit in the face with it, and it broke his nose, and that was the end of his day there at Expo 86. I think he came back, but no, that day was a bit of a write-off. Beef Eater Dry Gin. What a surprise. They still sell that. One of the few things I can actually say, oh, wait, I know that brand. CAA. Nothing. And this one here, I believe, was the east entrance into Expo 46. It was directly across from what's now Main Street Science World Station and directly in front of the Expo Center, now known as TELUS World of Science. And Royal Bank of Canada has their piece right over here. And the showcases, I think we discussed that earlier. Another cigarette ad. This was part of their flight thing. I believe this was supposed to be a mock-up of a Canada Post futuristic delivery vehicle. I don't know. I don't have the time to read this. And there's Ford with their Ford Taurus and Mercury Sable. I wonder if those were Expo 86 commemorative editions as well. Because Lethbridge has to be in here. They have their spot. What a fantastic place to be in the 80s. Sports Bowl, a Wuhan Group company. Wishing good times, good friends from around the world. Canadian Club, thanks. And, Northern Telecom, there we go. God bless them. Another fantastic communications company here in Canada, or was. Nortel is gone now, by the way. And our sponsors. So we have stuff like Kodak, IBM. All the kiosk information centers were all computerized by IBM as well. But yeah, McDonald's had their setup here as well. Canadian Tire. Where was it? Yes, there's Woodward's, BC Cellular, which like dissolved like the next year. I wouldn't say it's BC TELUS, but yeah, there's a brand I've never heard of before. Yeah, here's the IBM. Touch the Future, and it's actually talking about the interactive displays here. Like, don't worry about being lost. We'll be able to help you. Just touch the screens. It's like touchscreen technology. Whoa, okay, there's a nice little gimmick that works at a World's Fair. Kodak has their piece right here. Different foods that are available. I guess it indicates again where each one is. And Heineken beer. Yay. Waves. Waves has been around forever. It actually surprised me. I didn't even know Waves was around in 1986, but apparently they were. and I can tell here that it's in the BC Pavilion. So I do believe they've never actually changed locations. And 5 great dining places. English Bay Cafe. Yeah. I don't think I've heard of any of these places. Off-site guide, because apparently there was off-site stuff you can go to. Yeah, there's all this food here. Where was it? Seafade, Salmon House. The Ship of the Seven Seas. If you got the Lonsdale back at that time, because there was pretty much nothing over there besides, I don't even know if the quay was open yet. But yeah, that closed unfortunately about 15 years ago now, I believe. It was a fantastic seafood restaurant. Like, you had to get a reservation to go there most of the time. But that ship unfortunately is long gone now. And the incredible Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant. It's not there anymore. I believe this is an American chain, and there's like nothing in Canada anymore. It really looks like something that would be stuck in the 80s, but apparently they're still around now. That's kind of cool. And yeah, here it is. Hey, Seabus, take me to the Ship of the Seven Seas. And yes, it was apparently a fantastic restaurant. I've never been to it, never heard of it about it until I just read in here and I Googled it and like, oh, this is a real place. And there's actually a bit of history about it. It was a converted ferry that became a floating restaurant or something like that. It was actually kind of cool. And there's the index, and hello, Coca-Cola, you have yourself an entire full-page ad at the back of the magazine. Cool. And more souvenirs of 86, because we can. Transportation communication and a commemorative plate. And, there we go, Princess Diana, because she was able to visit Expo 86. And was it Prince Charles, I believe? Yes, who opened Expo 86 officially. And I believe that is everything. Showcase for the world, an inspiration to each other. The British Columbia Pavilion, Expo 86. Well, so there we have it. We have our passport, our ID, our pin, our guide, and our souvenir magazine. These are my little bits of Expo 86. Kind of wish I could go there, looking back at it. But if you remember it, I hope you have fond memories of Expo 86. And I wish for Expo 86 itself a happy 30th birthday.